How's it going, everyone? I wanted to use what little platform I had to send a really important message, because it's all well and good that we can black out our screens on Instagram for a day and send a post saying Black Lives Matter, but I just want to do all I can to try and send a really important message, because what's happening in America right now, it's been happening as long as I've been alive and decades before that. And I personally want to have my say, because it's something that has affected me all throughout my life as well. Now, with my own personal experience of racism, it's nothing compared to what's going on in America. Now, the atrocities that are happening in America right now are disgusting. And, people like George Floyd that have lost their lives. No, my heart goes out to him and his families, because do you know what? It's awful that he would have to live his life in fear, because he would have knew deep down that something like that would be coming his way, because it's been happening ever since the 60s. Martin Luther King got shot and killed, Rodney King in the 90s, even years now, ever since Black Lives Matter, the hashtag got first put on social media, this day and age, it's something that keeps continuously happening. And do you know what, with all the protesting and riots going on right now, I think George Floyd was the straw that broke the camel's back. So I want to have my say and send a message, because it's something that's really personal to me. Now, I remember at this time, I was 13 years old. I'd just been to the dentist and I was getting the bus home. So I'm sitting there and this old man walks over to me and says, "Do you know what? You people, you're kind, you're beneath me, you're nothing." Because at this point, that is literally how we opened the conversation. I'm sat there shook. I'm young, I'm naive. I didn't know how to react. I was just there, just drop jaw, just in awe that someone could say something like that. You hear about stuff that happening on TV all the time, but to actually have someone come and say something like that to you is shocking. So then this old man sits down next to me and tells me the story about when he was in the army. And there was these two black people that apparently laughing at him because he had a sunburn and they didn't. And I don't know why, but this must have really got to this old man, because he's literally sat there saying, "Well, do you know what? In the future, I've come to realise that all of your kind, all of your people are beneath me and you're all disgusting. And do you know what? Just because they can go out in the sun for longer doesn't make you better than me." And how he kept talking down and belittling black people, just because two people might have laughed at him, and he must have had some underlying hate for black people anyway, because you should have seen the way he was going off for 5 minutes. And I was just sat there just in disbelief of what I was hearing. I was basically being belittled, being thrown in the same group as everyone else, which is the wrong thing to do. And by the way, what they were doing was not even that bad. He just had some deep hate for black people. And I was just shocked. And that time, it just really, really lives with me. It stays with me forever. I can still think back to how I was 13 and I was just absolutely shook. I had no reaction, no way. And then the old man just got up and went on the bus. And that was it. And I was just there what the hell have I just listened to? So for me now, that was about 9 years ago. And do you know what? Ever since I first learned how to drive, I've been pulled over 8 times. So in 4 years, I've been pulled over 8 times by police. And there's one time that really, really rubbed me the wrong way. So Pokemon Go had just come out, and me and my friend were driving around our local town. We're pulling up to the side of the road in all the laybys and stuff, spinning the closest Pokestops, catching a Pokemon, and then driving off to the next one. So the police must have been following us for about 5-10 minutes, and eventually they pulled us over. So the police asked what we're doing. I went, "I'm playing Pokemon." Just straight up answer "Yeah, I didn't have anything to say. I'm just going to tell the truth. I'm playing Pokemon. Nothing to it." So he asked me to get out of the car and then starts getting a breathalyzer ready. And he goes, "Now, before I breathalyze you, what nationality are you?" I said to him, "Hold on, what has my nationality got to do with a breathalyzer?" He goes, "It's just a routine question. I need to know, where are you from?" So I said, at this point, I've been pulled over about 3 times by police already, and not once had a police officer asked me where I was from before breathalyzing me. He literally turned around and said to me, "Before I breathalyze you, tell me where you're from." I go, "Hold on, that's not right." So I got into an argument with this police officer and said, I'm not going to tell you where I'm from. You have no right knowing where I come from. It doesn't affect this breathalyzer which you're wrongly conducting on me anyway. So can you please just get on with the breathalyzer so we can both go about our business? So after a few minutes of arguing and me telling him that he has no right to know where I came from, he eventually just left anyway. And you know what? That was the first time that I felt I was personally being profiled by police. Even though I've been pulled over 3 times already and 4 times since then, I felt that was the first time that I was fully getting like profiled and like labelled, trying to be chucked into a category by a policeman. And I was thinking, wow, so this really does happen nationwide, worldwide. And do you know what? My friends, like other black people, I live in a predominantly white area, and my friends are also black, have also experienced very similar things like, on a regular basis. And it's just disgusting that it would still happen in this day and age. Now, the message that I want to send to you today, everyone out there that has blacked out their screens, everyone that has used the hashtag blacklivesmatter. Now, it's all well and good that you do that like today in support of George Floyd and everything that's happened recently, but we need to not make it a one-time thing that rides the trending waves. Like, we need to make sure that we stick by this for as long as we live, or else this will keep happening. It will happen time and time again if we don't take action. Now, everyone from the age of 20 and up, this is really meant for you. Like, we are the generation that is about to be in charge. We're the generation that is about to bring along the next generation. So we need to teach our kids, when we have them, like, we need to tell them that, listen, you can't do this. Like, profiling people, just hating other people, looking at someone else because of the colour of their skin. Like, you can't do that. It's wrong. It's just wrong. Our time is coming where we're going to be the ones that are in charge. And when we're in charge, we can have our say on how this nation is run and how all the nations are run. Because this generation, we could do great things if we use what we've learned from the previous generations. Like, don't be like that policeman that was on George Floyd's neck. You know, unfortunately, there are people like him around, and he will have kids, and his children will see people like that doing terrible things to other people of a different race, and then that will unfortunately carry on the hatred. But we need to come together and make sure that we really drill in the fact that racism is wrong and it just shouldn't happen, but we've got to hate anything racist. And that way we can make such a noticeable step towards having peace between all people. Like, I see so many people out there saying, imagine hating someone for the colour of skin. So let's make sure that that ridiculous notion is still ridiculous to the next generation. And even though that is not going to completely stamp out the cycle of hatred that keeps going around and it's been happening for generations, small steps are way better than no steps. Thank you for listening.